With me here is Francis Rossi from Status Quo. Francis, nice to meet you again.
He said that when he came in. Nice boy. You can't see him, I can.
So, now, first of all, we have to talk about the concert in Carrickfergus in August.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I've just seen a picture of the actual, like the castle area, and they said how strong that thing's been. They've been a fortress for some years and stuff. And I always have a story that I tell about a friend of mine in the south who's looking for some shopsy. And I always use the term Carrickfergus, and I never even knew it existed. But I do now, and quite looking forward to it. Apparently they have events there, but nothing quite as big as this, because I think you've got Jools Holland the day before us and some day. Quite looking forward to it.
Excellent. And of course, you're no strangers to Northern Ireland. You tour here on quite a regular basis.
Every 2 years, yeah. We go everywhere about every 2 years.
And obviously, like the fans here?
I like them everywhere. I mean, no, I'm serious. It's when we go on, there's Status Quo fans in there. If there were Rolling Stones fans in there, perhaps we wouldn't go down so well. But we're very, very lucky, and that's one of those things that you work for all your life, is to have a following. So you turn up, and sure enough, I know most of the names of the front row. In fact, the front 3 rows.
Seriously?
Yes.
Yeah. Very good. But you must think, when you think back, I mean, 41 years the band's been going now.
41 years, yes, I'm getting older now, aren't I? You just don't think it's going to happen, and in one mind, it seems, my God, that's a long time. In another mind, it isn't. It's that thing that we invented, time. I've got no idea. It's so, you know what time is like? You keep doing this with it. You can be sitting around for a day and think it's such a long day. And then look back on it 3 months later, and the entire 6 months, he's checking if I might have fallen out of shot, I'm sorry. He talks a lot as well.
I know, but I mean the stats. Of course, I got emailed your Status Quo fact file, and I mean you've achieved so much, and just really what keeps driving you on to just keep at it?
Probably insecure, a little show off. No, it's not a joke. I'm serious. I think most of people that do what we do, or what this side of the camera do, are insecure little show offs. There's a certain amount of it that's quite shy and doesn't want this, and there's the other side that says, no, just get me in there, you know. And that's what I think keeps me doing. I will walk on tonight, and most people in there go, oh, it's great to see you. I haven't done anything yet. And so often you can do, there's a couple of fans, I said I know a lot of the fans' names, and there's a couple I was talking to in the Isle of Man last year. I said, you're mad, you come to so many shows. And I said, don't you find that problem? She said, no. She said, my husband goes to the football. I said, yeah. She said, sometimes he comes back telling me how rubbish they were. He still goes the following week. He says, sometimes it's like that with you. I said, thank you. I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but... And this woman and her friend, one of them's done 500 and something shows since 1969. And some have done 300 or 400 shows. I haven't even been to 300 or 400 of our shows. I don't think I have.
But I mean, and obviously, I mean, it's an energetic show that you put on.
Yes,
and okay, we know that you're going to be, 60 later this year?
Oh, me, yes, I am.
But I mean, how... You obviously have to keep a...
Yeah, I do. I started to go to the gym. The Chinese lady who looks after us, she convinced me to start going to a gym about 10 years ago, and which I thought I'd never do. And I started going to the gym. Apart from, I'm never going to get body beautiful, but it keeps me going, it keeps the lungs going, it keeps my body, it keeps me straight, and it gives me a focus, and it gives me the energy to do it. And the one thing about a Status Quo show is the physical energy that goes into it. I rediscovered the other night when last week when we started in Manchester again, we owed another show. You're adjusting that camera, aren't you? I'll hold still while you adjust it. Don't do that. And I realised that night, because we didn't rehearse, which is unusual, that even standing there trying to do, because of the pace of the thing, is quite hard. So when your body physically gets into it, it's so enjoyable. It's like anything, I suppose. It's like when I go to the gym, I don't really want to go. When I come out, I feel so good. And the same with the show. Quite often, most nights, if you say to me tonight, 30 minutes before, you don't have to do it, I go, yes! And then about 20 minutes down the road, I should start going, oh, it would have been lovely to play. I start fantasising how wonderful it would have been. And so that's what I said about the insecure little shove. I don't want to do it. I don't want to. Yes, I do. Otherwise, you couldn't get up and say, look at me, everyone, I'm wonderful. There's something in us that makes us do that.
And obviously something within you means that you can stick Rick Parfitt for 40 years as well.
Yeah, that's another weird one that people... I mean, I've known Rick since I was 16, and the amount of times people say, how do you and Rick get on? I say, fine. Now, you keep that for 40 years, and then people ask me, I go, all right, I think. If somebody had asked me how I get on with my wife that many times, I'd say it must be a problem, because they keep asking me. So for two people who have been together that long, we get on extremely well. I don't think we quite want to be inside each other's trousers anymore, like perhaps we used to, or that close. But we both know when to give each other space, and we don't argue, we just go quiet. The idea of arguing and fighting can't come back from that. But generally, we get on extremely well.
And he's doing well. I mean, he did have the quadruple bypass a couple of years back.
Yes, he had the serious, but he's the only person on the planet to have a quadruple bypass and still be jimping around. He's passed his due-by date and so on. He still carries on. That's Rick. He has the constitution of an ox. He really does. Very strong man.
Brilliant. And so you're enjoying the current tour, and there's no sign of status quo hanging up the Fender Telecasters just yet?
I don't think so. You know, you just said approaching 60. Now, when I was approaching 30, people were saying, surely you're a bit old now. That was 30 years ago. And I thought it was a bit old now, so I don't know. And with Uncle Mick and Uncle Keith still going out, and now those young people behind us, you too, at 50-something, you think, well, this business has never done this before. So I don't know what's... I know B.B. King went on and still goes on. I know that I saw Chuck Berry last year, 83 or something. So I don't know. It seems ridiculous, but when I'm on there, oh no, I'm happy. If I look at me, oh, what sweet. I don't look at the photographs, I don't look at any footage because I think I look ridiculous. But I enjoy myself that much, I don't wish to know how ridiculous I look.
Not at all.
Fan.
No, seriously, I go back a long way, as I said, in my chair, paper plane.
No, Sean, you're right. He won't let you see him.
Oh, I do cutaway shots, don't worry.
You're going to do noddies in a minute.
That's right. He's been there so many times.
Whenever you see that, someone look at it. They're called noddies. He's done a cutaway.
Listen, Francis, before I start laughing my head off, it's been really a pleasure to chat to you, and we'll see you in Carrickfergus at the end of August.
It's a lovely name, isn't it? Yeah. I know a little kid called Fergus.
There's a song called Carrickfergus.
Don't start now. It'd be an Irish one, wouldn't it?